Today we're going to be pinning PoolFish XYZ, previously known as Uniswap Fish, against Metrix Finance to determine which one is the best Uniswap v3 calculator. Now if you guys follow the channel, you know that I'm going to be as transparent as possible. I'm going to talk about where PoolFish excels, and I'm going to talk about where Metrix Finance excels, because I truly believe in just developing the best tools for the industry. And if that means that there's other tools out there outside of Metrix Finance, we will use those in our analysis. Now PoolFish back in the day used to be primarily focused only on Uniswap, and it was funded by the Uniswap Foundation, which is the official foundation and DAO behind Uniswap Labs. And some of you may understand the backstory, but Metrix Finance previously forked the open source code of Uniswap Fish, and then later on transitioned into its own tool. At the time we had forked it because there was a lack of networks for the Uniswap Fish tool. So we forked it and we introduced new networks and then started introducing new functionality. Our fork looks something along the lines of this, and it's safe to say that we have evolved a lot since then. But anyways, Uniswap Fish was acquired by a solo developer who then started building it out into PoolFish and adding additional functionality. Now both tools support the ability to find positions, simulate performance, and track performance after you actually enter those positions. Both tools support Uniswap, PancakeSwap, QuickSwap, and SushiSwap. However, PoolFish supports Thena as well as Kinetics, whereas Metrix Finance supports Orca, Radium, Velodrome, and Aerodrome. Now on PoolFish, you have the ability to look at the fee APY, the risk level, the price volatility, TVL, fees, volume, and the 24-hour average volume to TVL ratio. Although one thing to note on PoolFish is the TVL does come out inaccurate simply because it's showing multiples of trillions of dollars, which is more than the overall market cap of crypto. Now on PoolFish, you can filter by fee tier. You can choose whether you want to look at 1 day, 7 days, 30 days, or 90 days when it comes down to the volume as well as fee history. On top of that, you can filter specific risk levels, and then when it comes down to estimated fees, you can do a min and max filter. Now on Metrix Finance, you have the ability to factor in how much data is being used to calculate potential APRs. On top of that, you will see the fees APR, the rewards APR in the case that there are reward tokens for a specific pool, the price volatility, the TVL, which does seem to be accurate in this instance. You will also see the correlation, the average daily fees over your calculation time frame, the daily fee to TVL ratio, the average daily rewards over your calculation time frame, the daily reward to TVL ratio, and the average daily volume over your calculation time frame, and the daily volume to TVL ratio. So Metrix Finance brings in correlation along with rewards, but does not display a risk level, and the simple reason why is because we found risk levels to be relatively inaccurate and misleading. Now when it comes down to the calculator on PoolFish, you can select a network and then go over and select a specific pair and pull up a fee tier, and then you'll be able to calculate your potential performance. Whereas on Metrix Finance, you can head over to the simulate page and you'll be able to select an exchange, network, as well as select a pair. And once you start to type in that pair, you'll be able to see the different fee tiers for that pair, the total TVL right off the bat, and of course you have some general data that will help guide your decisions on where the market is currently going. On top of that, with Metrix Finance, you can see your recently viewed positions right below the simulate page. Now PoolFish shows a liquidity position or distribution chart showing where other people are actually providing liquidity. It shows the Ethereum to USDC price chart. This is the price of the pool. On top of that, it allows you to select how much data is being factored in across 1 day, 7 days, 1 month, and 3 months. You can enter in your deposit amount as well as select your price range, which will use 3,000 to 4,000 USDC per Ethereum, and then you're able to see estimated fees. In this instance, it's about 44% per year or $12 per day. Now you can do the same thing over on Metrix Finance, except Metrix Finance will allow you to see how much liquidity is on a specific price point so you can better plan out your position. We'll use the same range of 3,000 to 4,000 USDC per Ethereum, same deposit amount of $10,000, and you'll see that the APR comes out relatively similar at 41% APR and $12 per day. Now, one thing about Metrix Finance is you can choose a custom calculation time frame, which chooses how much data is actually being factored in. So whether that be 21 days, whether that be 90 days, whether that be 180 days, or even 365 days. That adjusts the chart history, but also shows you how much data is being factored in when it comes down to your estimated APR. Metrix Finance also allows you to look at the closest tick to the range that you selected. So by clicking match ticks, you can see it'll adjust to the closest tick for our position. Now on PoolFish, when you're browsing through the pools table, you have some useful data, don't get me wrong. However, that data is not displayed on the actual page itself when you're calculating the return. Metrix Finance displays all that data along with the correlation as well as the geometric mean of your range. On top of that, both tools have a volume history chart. It's just on PoolFish, the volume history chart is merged into the ETH USDC price chart, and you can't really see the actual dollar figures. Whereas on Metrix Finance, you have a dedicated chart. You could see min, average, max, and if you hover over it, you could see the exact amount along with the fees for that specific day. Metrix Finance also features a position breakdown by token, value, and total value chart. This allows you to see how your position performs over specific periods of time. Both tools have a simulate position performance tab, which allows you to simulate potential impermanent impermanent or divergence loss, as well as which strategy is going to be better when it comes down to price appreciation. In this instance, if Ethereum were to go to 4,000 and we were to have 9 days of fees, we would actually beat hodling in the market. You can do the same exact thing over on Metrix Finance right here. One thing that Metrix Finance allows you to do for more advanced users is adjust the actual price of the tokens shall you need to have more accurate data. So that makes Metrix more composable. So that way you can truly determine how much you need to deposit. That way you can truly determine actual pool price and stuff along those lines. On top of that, Metrix Finance features a calculation method that allows you to strictly adjust the calculation method for the APR. So when we look at this APR, it's currently 41%. However, there is a jump in liquidity right over here. And if we look at that specific price, just by clicking on the liquidity distribution chart, it changes to the custom price and it shows a 24.84% APR. Now, PoolFish has a similar feature where you can adjust the most active price assumption right here, but that will adjust your deposit amount, which will mess with your overall range, along with when you're calculating permanent loss, your numbers in there. Metrix Finance also allows you to go beyond just selecting a custom price and use the peak of liquidity distribution in your range, and also use the average liquidity per tick in range, so you can average out each individual tick to truly get an accurate assumption of what type of APR you might earn. And then after you've ran your calculations on Metrix, you can save these positions to your portfolio, which saves the simulation, allows you to pick up where you left off later on. Whereas unfortunately on PoolFish, you cannot do that. Now, one thing that PoolFish does feature that Metrix Finance does not feature is the top positions, where you can see other positions for a specific liquidity pool. You can apply their price range right into your simulation, which is a pretty cool feature. Now, PoolFish also aggregates all this data into a positions tab where you can see positions across Uniswap, specifically on the Ethereum network, to see what people are currently doing. Whereas Metrix allows you to head over to the build section and see all the positions that you have saved, see all the metrics that you factored in, adjust those simulations right from the same page, and simulate the overall portfolio performance so you can see how your portfolio works together across different price points. And as a bonus, you can take this portfolio and you can share it with other people. So that way, if you want to show people the strategy that you're thinking about running, you can get feedback on it. Metrix Finance also features something called pair, where you can look at specific positions for a pair. So if we were to select Uniswap on the Ethereum network and look at Ethereum along with USDC, we'd be able to see all Ethereum and USDC options with a $10,000 deposit. Maybe we choose our 3,000 to 4,000 range. You could see this option is doing about $11.27 per day. This one is doing about $21.55 per day. And the cool thing is we can go beyond just one network and one exchange. We could look across Ethereum, Arbitrum, Polygon, Base, BNB Chain, so on and so forth. Even if we wanted to browse Uniswap, QuickSwap, PancakeSwap, SushiSwap all at once, we can do that. On top of that, you can click this button called Similar Assets that shows you assets that are similar to Ethereum, like wrapped staked Ethereum, and other derivatives, as opposed to being limited to that one specific asset. As you can see on Metrix Finance, we have stuff like USDT as well. Ethereum to USDT, Ethereum to USDC is in here. It's on SushiSwap on the Ethereum network, on Uniswap on the Polygon network. And if we continue to go down and down and down and down and down, we're just listed with a bunch of opportunities. Even as far as going to Frax Ethereum to Frax, which is another option that does the same exact thing as Ethereum to USDC, or Ethereum to USDBC. So you have a comprehensive overview and you can truly see what is the best performing pool. That way, if you're planning on diving into something just like Ethereum to USDC, you can truly make sure that you're maximizing your capital efficiency and earning the most possible money. And when it comes down to tracking positions, PoolFish only supports Uniswap on the Ethereum network, Polygon network, Optimism network, and Base network, whereas Metrix Finance supports tracking for all the listed exchanges and networks in full. Now, one thing that I did notice is PoolFish does require you to connect and sign for your wallet when it comes down to looking at your own positions, whereas Metrix Finance only requires that you paste in a wallet address and does not require any wallet connect whatsoever. This means that you can track your own wallet and other people's wallets, or you can track your other wallets without having to have multiple subscriptions because you can track it all under one. On top of that, you can bundle multiple wallets at once and paste in multiple and view them at the same time. Now, that being said, from the get-go, PoolFish shows you your total liquidity, total P&L, and total P&L in the past 24 hours across all of your positions. Now, I only have one position right now, and the data seems to be relatively similar. It's showing I'm up 1.26K compared to over here at 1.381K. PoolFish allows you to swap between HODL, Ethereum, and USD, whereas Metrix Finance has an intuitive interface that shows you all of them at the same time. It shows you your current liquidity, how much you deposited / withdrew so far of your open positions. It shows you earnings, unclaimed and claimed. It shows you profit loss overall compared to USD. It shows you profit compared to hodling in the market. And then later on when we dive into this, we can compare it to ETH. It shows you your asset gain, your return on investment. It shows you your APR, and then a 24-hour, 7-day, and 30-day projection. Now, one thing I noticed is I can only see open positions on PoolFish, whereas over on Metrix Finance, I can view all of my positions. I can look after a specific date. I can filter them by typing in a specific asset. So when we do that, we can look at all of my Ethereum to render positions, even the closed ones, and we can look at them as an overall strategy to see truly how it is performing. And in this instance, you can see it's down 1.1K, but it's averaged out to about an 82% APR. I can also filter by specific exchanges, networks, and even add custom positions. So that way, stuff that isn't supported on Metrix Finance, I can still track on Metrix Finance. Diving into the position details, over on PoolFish, we are greeted with similar details to Metrix Finance, although Metrix is quite more comprehensive. It shows you your liquidity, profit loss, last 24-hour gain, your fee APY, as well as the age of the position, and then it also shows you your unclaimed and claimed fees, your starting versus now position, so how much you started with and the dollar amount, as well as how much you have now and the dollar amount. Shows you potential daily fees based on your overall fee APY, and it has the price chart over here, and you have the option to turn on position alerts. So that way you get notified when it hits a specific part of your range, in which Metrix Finance has all of that functionality, but also shows you if you held your initial assets. It breaks down your earnings. It shows you your actual breakdown of divergence loss. So against if you held your initial assets, you held it in a 50-50 ratio, if you held all your money in ETH, if you held all your money in Render. So you can benchmark across 4 different aspects right here. And then on top of that, you can benchmark across USD up here. Shows you the price range chart in which you have the min price, the max price, the current price, along with the average starting price, how long you've been in range, and you can add specific alerts, whether price-based or position composition-based. That way you get notified as soon as your position is about to go out of range or as soon as you are about to go back in range, so that way you can make a decision. On top of that, Metrix Finance plots your position on a chart, so it shows you how your position performs to HODL metrics over time, so that way you can truly see your earnings build up. It shows you projections across not just 1 day, but 7 days, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and 365 days. It allows you to actually open hedges on your position so you could view your true profit loss if you are running a delta neutral strategy. And there are many, many other minor aspects of Metrix Finance that we're not going to dive into today. With that being said, that is a comprehensive overview of Metrix Finance versus PoolFish. Again, PoolFish does excel at being a simple and easy to use tool. However, Metrix Finance is meant for those data-driven investors out there. In today's video, we did use PoolFish Pro along with Metrix Elite, the top tier of both tools. We'll let you guys decide in the comment section who you thought was the winner. If you enjoyed this comparison, drop a like, subscribe, notifications turned on, and we'll see you later. Peace.